call and say what's on your mind. Do you honestly believe that an elected official or a police chief can stop people who are criminals from being criminals? The government's checkbook is not going to solve the problems that we have. We are never going to get anywhere until you decide that you individually care enough about your community to do something about it.
910 AM Superstation. We're the hottest station in town.
Good morning, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, the Urban Conservative. How are you this Wednesday morning? Time now is 6 o'clock in the morning. If you've got to be there by 7 o'clock, you've got 1 hour to get there. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. So let me put you in the mind frame of what I want to talk about today. Let's imagine you own a multi-billion-dollar network. It's a streaming service, and you have subscribers not just in Michigan, not just all over America, but all over the planet Earth. You've got millions and millions of subscribers. You make money hand over fist. You've driven a lot of the competition away. A lot of other folks have decided that they want to follow your business model and that they want to start doing what you're doing. They've decided that they're going to start streaming programs directly into people's homes because that's where the money is now. Folks are not going out and going to Blockbuster, and they're really, really, really not using those red box things anymore. So you decided, you stepped up to, we're going to stream directly into people's homes. Folks, some people wind up sharing, they wind up their password, but you now got a bunch of other competition. There's Paramount and, and Amazon and all of the other ones that have decided that they want to follow you. You are right now at the top of your game. And you've decided that one of the things, since there are not enough regular movies that you can purchase and TV series that you can purchase, you're financing a bunch of brand new original programming. As part of that original programming, some of the people that you put on might be controversial, like, Dave Chappelle. Others you might wind up saying, we're going to try something. We're going to do live streaming an event, a comedy event, like with Chris Rock, and we're going to bring him back, and you have millions and millions of people watching all over the world, and it turns out not to really be a funny event. Imagine you've got a network where you can do pretty much what you want because it's your money. You've decided that you are going to fund a film about Cleopatra of the Nile. And for those of you that have never wound up looking at a globe, the Nile is in Egypt. I need some of y'all at some point in time to go and pick up, whether you pick up an atlas, whether you wind up going to get a globe and try and figure out what's on the continent of Africa. Where is that? Do a little bit of research. Find out how the folks that are there now got there, the people who originally were there. Find out about the weather. Find out about how their skin, what skin colors they have. Find out about how all of the different ethnicities wound up mixing in different parts of that continent. There are old stories. I wound up, I was in elementary school. I was in the Chicago public schools. So we hadn't moved to the suburbs yet. I was still in elementary school when I first learned about Antony and Cleopatra. And we had to read all of those Greek mythology stories because apparently the Chicago Public School Board paid for those books to come into the classroom. So they paid for them. Hey, we've got to read them. Yeah, I know. They didn't really pay for a bunch of Black history stuff. That's a whole nother discussion. But we're learning about Greek mythology, and you learn about Oedipus. Yeah, if y'all don't remember that story, that's a horrible story. You learn about Atlas. You learn about all of the Greek mythological creatures and the people who actually apparently really existed. And then come Easter and things like that, you watch some of the shows that American TV producers in the 40s and 50s produced, and you see that these people who allegedly were from the continent, not allegedly, who really were from the continent of Africa, American film producers put white people in those roles. Now, I understand historically that at that point in time, they were not treating here in America, blacks didn't have full rights. You couldn't walk in the front door. You couldn't drink out of the same water fountain as those who had a different skin color. You couldn't even get in the same pool with them. You couldn't sleep in the same hotel. There was an entirely, blacks were treated as an entirely different class. So the fact that you might not have, and if they're, your studio back then, and where MGM and things like that, if you're putting together films for a white audience, makes sense. You go ahead, you use the people that you've made out to be white superstars at that point in time in the 40s and the 50s. So whatever. It's not culturally, it's not factually accurate, but hey, you paid for it then. Those studios paid for it. They can cast whoever they want to in it. But it's now 2023. And it's not just MGM and those other studios that are out in Hollywood. Netflix now is all over the world. Netflix doesn't take their cues from Hollywood. Netflix especially does not have to take their cues from folks in the Egyptian press who decided that when Netflix says we're funding a film, and in the film, The Story of Cleopatra, we're going to make sure that they cast an African American, a black woman in the role. Netflix doesn't have to be bothered with the fact that, seriously, the opinion of folks in the Egyptian press that get upset and they want to write a letter to Netflix and say, oh my God, no, you can't do that. You cannot put a black woman in that role. Don't lead people to believe that Cleopatra had dark skin. Now, that truthfully is like a little bitty bumblebee going and trying to bite a large behemoth. Big deal. Netflix is not going to shake one way or the other based on the fact that members of the press over in Egypt have decided to complain and say, you can't cast Cleopatra as a black woman. The thing is, that just is part of a very disturbing trend. And the trend is that there are folks, not just here in America, so this is not just white people in America, there are folks all over the country and all over the world who get upset when they find out that sometimes people can cast a diverse sphere of folks in different roles. Do you remember a couple of years ago all of the backlash when they found out that Disney was going to actually put, several years ago, a couple of decades ago now, when Disney decided that they were going to put a black girl, that is Brandy, in the role of a princess, folks lost their minds. But a couple of years ago, when they decided that they were going to give young, I think her name is Haley Bailey, and I might be messing her name up. It's not Halle Berry, it's Haley, one of those twin sisters that are in a lot of those starring roles, that they're going to put her in the role of Ariel. She's a mermaid. Now, first of all, I don't believe in mermaids. We already know that this is fantasy. But these folks lost their minds and decided to take to every outlet they could find to complain about, oh my God, they're making the mermaid black, and oh my God, that doesn't fit with my worldview of things. How on earth could a mermaid be black? I want to look at them and say, they can make a mermaid any color they want. They can make a unicorn any color they want. By the way, you're stupid for deciding that certain characters have to be certain ways. These are the same people that wrote letters and got upset when they found out that in Harry Potter films, that at Hogwarts there were going to be black people, and they actually wrote letters and said, "Oh my God, no, there can't be black people at Hogwarts." It's a fantasy world, people. There can be black people anywhere that the writers and the people that own the rights to produce those shows, they can put as much diversity as they want in it. The problem that we're having is there are folks out there that believe that it's supposed to be an all white world. And if they see somebody in a role such as, oh my God, you're talking about putting a black man in the role of James Bond. You're talking about putting a black man in the role of Spider-Man. Oh no, they lose their mind. There took a very, very, very long time. Think about how long did we have to deal with the Batman characters before they actually had enough heart, enough courage to actually give Javisha, what's her last name, Leslie, the role of Batgirl. It actually, because there were folks that says, oh no, that's a role for it. It's got to be white. She's got to be white. Found the headline was Stan Lee, and somebody decided that they wanted to correct Stan Lee. They wanted to correct the headline. The headline said that Stan Lee said that Spider-Man should remain white and straight. I don't know if there was some one, there were plans afoot to make Spider-Man gay or something. I have no idea when that happened. Do remember when there was talk about Spider-Man being black, and I remember the folks on social media losing their minds. But again, these are fantasy folks, people. They can make these fantasy people any color they want. What surprises me is that there are that many of y'all who actually have an opinion about folks that are spending millions, maybe billions of dollars of their own money. And you want to tell them, oh no, you can't put that person in that role because in my world, they're just all supposed to be white. There's a point when we've got to tell those folks that in your world, everybody's not going to be white. There are diverse people all over the planet, not just here in America, but in Canada and in Europe and everywhere else. There are black folks who actually take part in society. There are gays who take part in society. There are women who take part in society. All of the world, every position that you see is not always going to be filled by a white male. I realize that there are people out there who were told something different in their homes when they were growing up, but it's time to start to straighten those people out so that they can understand that if somebody's going to, like Netflix, wants to spend money and they want to spend millions of dollars of their own money, they can cast anybody, any shade, any color, any size, in any role that they want to because they're the ones that are spending the money. If you don't like it, don't watch. But I'm pretty sure that your opinion is not going to steer. Listen, if Netflix stood solidly behind Dave Chappelle in each one of the times that everybody decided to, I mean, there were people in Netflix who quit because they didn't want to promote Dave Chappelle. The owner and his wife, his beautiful black wife, stood there and said, yes, so what? We don't really care. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to go with it. If, in fact, they withstood that heat, I think they'll be able to withstand the heat of folks who get upset because they think, oh, my God, you can't put a black woman in the role of Cleopatra. Tell me what y'all think. 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Let's see if we can get Ms. Leona in before we go to break. Good morning, Ms. Leona. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. I don't believe I'm number one this morning.
You number one in my heart all the time, Ms. Leona. Don't worry about it. How are you?
Well, thank you so much. And I would say that anytime you put a black person in a certain position, there's going to be a pushback. But they take our black actors and then do whatever they want to do. And they lost their mind when we got a black president, and they're still losing their mind, and a vice president. So I think it's all right, except when it comes to like our black leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King, supposedly.
Oh, wait a minute. There's an idea. Hold on a second. Let me take this break because Ms. Leona, I want you to think about this. And Sarge, don't go nowhere. I'm going to get to you when we come back. But how would you feel if they actually decided that they were going to put, let's say, a Spanish man in the role of Malcolm X? Would that bother you? 313-778-7600. Don't answer it now. I got to go to break. I want your answer when we come back in 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Right now, during Staples Free Tech Take Back, rewards members get $10 back in Staples Rewards when they recycle their tech. Ends June 3rd. Limit 1 reward per month. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/recycling for details. Cut the cord on your old tech and recycle it at Staples.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside a Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000 watt urban radio station in town.
The 910 AM live stream can now be seen on Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, YouTube Red, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, any Windows phone, or watch us live at 910amsuperstation.com.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Let's go back to Ms. Leona. Ms. Leona, I asked a question before we went to break. Would you care if, in fact, they found a very good, he's a great actor. If they found somebody what's his name? Jimmy Smits. How would you feel if they decided that they wanted to cast him in the role of Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or Thurgood Marshall? Would it matter to you?
Yes, it would. My mind just couldn't accept it. I think when it comes to those leaders, I think it should be hands off.
Wait. Hold on. Now you understand how these folks feel, these Egyptians feel about Cleopatra. Where's the book? Where's there a list? What's the test on who's hand off? You've got to wind up casting somebody in that group that has the same skin color or that grew up the same way they grew up. How do you draw the line?
I don't care about Cleopatra, but when it comes to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, even Aretha Franklin, those people went through some things and they have experienced. I don't think they should tell us as a black race what we can accept and can't accept. You can't tell me my mind is different from yours. It's all right as Cleopatra, maybe a basketball player, but when it comes to Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, I Stokely Carmichael, all those people, my mind is engraved that they should only be looked at as black people.
Wait a minute. Why? Why?
Yes. Why? Because I was raised and I was taught that. So that's all I know. I don't think just because you have money, you can do whatever you want to do and change my ways, but I can't do what I want to do in your way.
Well, Miss Leona, the benefit that you've got is you've lived a little longer than some of us. So you know good and well that, like when you said Aretha Franklin, white folks stole her music long ago. Every artist that came out of Detroit had their music wouldn't get played on white radio. That there were producers who stole their music, who stole the black artist music, played it and had a white group go out and sing the exact same song, and they made money off of it. And even this week, we're watching Ed Sheeran in court saying, listen, I don't care that it sounds like Martin Luther King's, not Martin Luther King, that it sounds like Marvin Gaye's music. It's the same chords, and I don't care that he played those. I played these, and so what? Everybody should be allowed to play these chords. That's the argument that Irish kid is making in court right now, that he should be able to steal black folks' music all the time just because he wants to. Folks have done it for years.
They could steal it in the beginning, but back in the 40s and 30s, but now we can fight against that. The time has changed. Some things we couldn't do about in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, but now going into the 90s, we can fight because the system kind of turned and gave us a reason to fight, and some people have money that they have enough money to fight different things, but I don't think just because you have money, you can come in and use my race and my people the way you want to, but when it comes to my race, want to use your people, it's altogether different.
All right, let me take some more callers. Thanks for getting up and joining us this morning, Miss Leona. 313-778-7600. Is there such a thing as certain people are hands off? Are you allowed to does Cleopatra only have to be portrayed as white? Can she be portrayed as black? How about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King or Thurgood Marshall? Which to test? 313-778-7600. Let's go to, I don't know which Malik this is. This might be Minister Malik. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go to Malik. Good morning.
Grand Rising Council.
It's Minister Shabazz. Good morning, Minister. How are you?
Oh, it's a great day to be alive. I woke up, man. I'm grateful.
There you go. That's the test. And this is, wait a minute. Not only did I wake up, I woke up early. I woke up enough to get exercise in, shower and all of that to be ready, because today's going to be a full-packed day. So it's a good day.
And woke up early enough to call Carrie, Leon, Jeff.
Brother, we appreciate it when you call. What you up to? What's going on?
I want to applaud Kevin Hart. He was rejected over there for saying that the ancient Egyptians were black, but in actuality, he is telling the truth. The Greeks did not invade Egypt until around 330 BCE, before the Common Era. Around 30 BC came the Romans. And of course, we know the Arabs invaded after 600 BC. Now, 600 AD. The pyramids and the Sphinx, whose proper name is Harmaket, all of these things were built before these people came. We can look at the writings on the walls of the temples and the pyramids and see the colors that the people drew. And they weren't white folks. And they weren't Arab folks.
And the drawings are still there, y'all. The drawings are still there thousands of years later.
That's right. That's right. And the ancient Egyptians will tell you that they came from the south. They came from other parts of
Africa.
So, people want to lie to us. They have been lying to us as it's written, as a man or woman thinketh in their heart. So is he. When you don't have a history, you steal other people's history. And enslavement starts in the mind and in the heart, not on the body, but the mind, the heart, and the body. So we need to know who we are. Now, great creations, great inventions belong to the human family. But since we're into color coding and it's so important by commission or omission to leave us out, why not just tell the truth? It's kind of like people say, well, why should I vote? Vote don't. I understand, but if it didn't matter, then why 400 years ago, 150 years ago, 50 years ago, and right now is there an organized effort to keep us, to lessen us from voting? Because the vote is a weapon. It's not the nuclear weapon, but it is a weapon. And when you're at war, and war is being waged on us. Now, whether we're at war, that's another story. But war has been and is being waged on us in various forms. You don't give up one weapon. We need to vote like it's important. But stop thinking that's all you got to do. Because you got to vote doesn't mean you don't need a block club. Because you have to vote, it doesn't mean that 89-year-old Miss Johnson, snow and ice should just be left out of there, and us so-called able-bodied people can't go and shovel it. We still have work to do after we vote. After we vote them in, we got to hold them accountable. Like Paul Robeson said, make them hear you. And if I may add to the great Paul Robeson, not only hear us, but see us and feel us. We have to do that in addition to voting. And because we vote, it doesn't mean we don't raise our kids. Because we vote, it doesn't mean we don't go to work. Because we vote, it doesn't mean we shouldn't be nice and decent and respectful to one another. Yes, vote. It's a weapon. But after you vote, what you gonna do?
Tell them there's still a lot of other things that you've got to do that you owe to your community. You owe it to your community and to society. You've got to do all of them. You can't just do one or the other. You can't. It's not just enough to raise your kids and go home and then sit on the couch. You still owe stuff to your society.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Thanks for getting up and for sharing this morning, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. 3-1. Have a good morning.
You be blessed.
Thanks. 313-778-7600. You know what? No, I said 629. So instead of going on, Sarge and John and Renee, hold tight. Let's get to y'all on the other side of the break. Why don't we go ahead and take the break now? It's a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials, and you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we believe we produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming. On Mondays at 8 p.m., catch a 2-hour block of Law & Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Listen, don't forget, you still have an opportunity to take part in the John D. Boyd Artist Development and Production Workshop being held from May 10th through May 14th over at the Hotel St. Regis and at Masonic Temple. If you've got any questions on how do you wind up buying tickets, call Demetria Hoskins, area code 313-686-4557. 313-686-4557. Let's go back to the phones. Let's talk to Sarge. Good morning, Sarge. How are you?
Hey, Terry, what's going on?
Hanging out, having fun. What's on your mind this morning?
Hey, man, a couple things. First off, let's get to something important. Oh, Sarge don't like being third, fourth, or fifth on your call lineup.
You don't?
You don't know who you're talking to. No,
you don't? Sarge want to be first. Sarge, if it's between you and Ms. Leona, I'm sorry. Ms. Leona go first. She lived longer than you, brother. She's lived longer than you. She got to be first.
Minister Shabazz, I respect him too.
And he's part of the 910 family, so you got to read the memos. If a member of the 910 family call, you get them all.
Well, if it wasn't for Sarge, you wouldn't even have a 910 station.
Well, we appreciate you, Sarge. What's on your mind this morning, brother?
All right. First off, no disrespect, but I don't give a damn about them Egyptians. I'm more worried about the people in our communities that did not vote. And now you got McCarthy sitting up there trying to take away their welfare checks, trying to take away Social Security and everything else. All this because they did not vote. And getting to the next point, you got to hold people accountable. We got a crackhead, retired person on the city council that came on national TV the other day and said, if you carry a gun downtown, we're going to send you on, quote, a vacation and give you 3 meals a day. You glamorized in jail, lady? Are you serious?
I didn't see it, so I don't know who said that.
Mary Waters.
Okay, let's not call a sitting councilman by name. Let's not. You call a name without calling her out of her name by describing her in other terms that you've used to describe her. But listen, it's her idea. She wants downtown to be safe, and the most recent thing that she can come up with for downtown. First of all, hold on. Don't you want downtown to be safe?
Well, I want downtown to be safe.
There is no but after that. You realize that. You realize there is no I want downtown to be safe, but you're supposed to stop at, yeah, I want it to be safe. And then the next thing is you figure out how do we go about keeping it safe. When I live down here now, when I lived down here before, I was able to go out at the end. Brother, this is what I did. I took a 2-hour walk every night. And there was no walking path or any of that other stuff. I had to wind up finding ways to go walking. I'm glad that there's a walking path now, but don't you think that now that they've spent all of your taxpayer dollars to wind up making downtown a little bit more family friendly, that you should be able to take families down there and have a good time without folks deciding that they're going to clown?
What about the whole city of Detroit?
Listen, I agree with you that the whole city should be safe. I agree that we should be able to live and enjoy the community we live in. I got you. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. And I think that, it starts at home. More folks need to be responsible for the people that are in their households, not just Detroiters, because a lot of these folks come from the suburbs to go clown inside the city of Detroit. So it starts at home. But B, there needs to be some leadership in each part of the city that says, I'm going to step up and be responsible, and we're going to keep this family friendly. What's wrong with that idea? What is wrong with there actually being leadership of somebody that says, I want to take steps to make this area safe?
Kerry, I love walking down the riverfront along the water, and going through downtown. I don't like carrying my 45 everywhere I go. I shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't.
But that's the way it is nowadays. And for them to tell me that I cannot carry my gun in a certain place, and I'm a legal gun holder, a registered gun holder, and I got a license for it, and now you're telling me to the hell with the Constitution that I can't carry my gun. I'm not a fan of.
Nobody said nothing about the hell with the Constitution. It is simply, you've got a right to carry a gun. Carry your gun. But brother, there's certain places you don't have a right to. You can't bring your gun to my house. All right? You can carry your gun wherever. All that she's saying is there should be certain areas where we should be able to tell family members, people who have families, or just single individuals, this area, we know it's safe. No matter what on earth is going on, this area, we're going to take steps to make it safe. I don't see anything wrong with it. Here's the real problem. It took them 5 minutes to come up with these little things that they're going to put downtown, that they're putting outside of Greek Child and stuff, when you walk past them and the little machine tells the police whether you've got a gun on you or not. Why the heck can't they put those in front of all of the doggone schools where the kids are going and shooting up stuff? If you've got the equipment, use it everywhere. Don't just use it to protect the white folks. I said that last week. I'm going to say it again next week.
In case you ain't been listening, the white schools don't want metal detectors. They don't want their kids to feel like they're in a prison.
I know. We know. Listen, we've had that show. I went to high school from 1977 to 1980, and I walked through a metal detector every morning. So it's not news in our community. It's news in their community. So let me knock out some more of these callers, Sarge. Have a great morning. 313-778-7600. Let's go to Renee. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning, Kerry. How are you all?
I'm better now that you called. How are you? What's on your mind?
Listen, I just want to say that, like, characters to play different people or whatever, I would want a person if I was cast, you all were going to do a documentary on me, I would want to be a person similar to me or look like me. Now, you mentioned, why couldn't somebody of different color play Malcolm X versus somebody playing a different color, Batman and those.
Listen, Stanley Tucci and Jimmy Smits are great people. They're great actors. You gonna say they can't play a black man?
Characters are characters.
character. Those Batman and those what's the other Star Wars? Those are fictional characters. Anybody can play a fictional or artificial character, but an autobiography or a true life story, it ought to be played by the person similar to them, the color of the person. That's all I'm saying.
Does it honestly matter to you whether or not? Here's the real problem. Even though we know what color, and if you've read any of the real history books and not the stuff that's been whitewashed for white America, but we know what color Queen Cleopatra would have to have been at that point in time.
Right.
That's also the point that Minister Shabazz was making. But we've never seen a black Cleopatra. I've never seen one. I have never seen her portrayed by a black woman.
The truth is she's a color, and the truth is she's a color. We need to stick with the truth. That's what I'm saying here. Fictional. They could be any color.
Okay.
But when you're talking about a person,
So when it comes down to Hogwarts or when it comes down to Spider-Man, we don't really care. But when it comes down to somebody that is a real life person, they should be portrayed by somebody who looks like them.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you made a mention of Malcolm X. Well, Malcolm, it should be a person of color. What?
Jimmy Smith is a Hispanic. Would it matter, or it's got to be a black man?
Well, Malcolm X wasn't Hispanic. So
it's got to be a black man in your book.
Thank you. If you're going to play me, Terry, it's not you. if a woman's going to play me, she got to be black.
Let me tell you something. Tyler Perry has made $1 billion playing women. So I'm not real sure.
That's a character. Medea is a character.
Okay. I'm following your rules. I wrote down your rule, which is if it's a real person, it's got to be that person. They've got to look like that person and be that color. If it's a fantasy person, it can be anybody. All right.
A fictional character could be anybody.
Thank you, Renee. We got your rule.
The elephant or the Bernstein Bears. They could be anybody. Whoever want to play the mermaid. She's not real.
Let me tell you this. What you just said, do you not know how many people lost their minds when they found out actually who the voice was behind Darth Vader? 40 years ago, but those people lost their mind when they found out that Darth Vader's voice was James Earl Jones.
Yeah, okay. That's because of racism.
And that was all because of racism. Exactly. All right, let me knock out at least one more caller before we go to break. Have a good morning. Let's go to Marcus. Good morning, Marcus. How are you?
I'm well, Brother Kerry. How are you today?
Pretty good. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, I think that's very skillful, the way that you are debating that argument on why any color doesn't matter. That's real skillful, Kerry. I see your legal background coming into play here. My input I'd like to add to the conversation is that these are historical figures in the Black struggle. You know what I'm saying? We have a difference here. The Black struggle is specific. It was deliberate. And it was an all-out assault on our people. So in order to not cheat history, we have to not change the account of the people to whom it happened. And that's what I would like to add.
In order to not cheat history. There you go. We're going to keep that phrase, in order to not cheat history. So I think at this stage, to be honest, since they've cheated history all of this time, at this stage, I stand behind Netflix. It's time that we saw a Black Cleopatra. Thanks for calling, Marcus. Have a great morning.
My pleasure.
313-778-7600. Let's go to Thomas. Good morning, Thomas.
Grand Rising. I just got up. I don't know what y'all talking about gold, but I think it's all about nothing. I think it's a distraction for what that we need dealing with for our deal with our survival. Mary Waters down there with that downtown thing. She is helping these white suburbanites use sort of the dumping down ground and a fun place for them to party and urinate all over the place. And run back.
Have a good morning, brother. Have a great morning. I got to go to break. 313-778-7600. When you start out by saying, I don't know what y'all talking about, you sort of lose me at that point. Y'all have 313-778-7600. We're going to take the last break of the morning. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is PG. Today's topic is about school buses and when drivers need to stop. I am here with Southfield Police Chief Elvin Barron and Farmington Hills Police Chief Jeff King with an important traffic safety tip just for you.
When the lights are flashing yellow on the school bus and you're driving on a two-way roadway, that means slow down, pass with caution, and be prepared to stop.
When the lights are flashing red and the stop sign is extended out, you are required to stop, keeping a safe distance from the bus. Do not attempt to pass. This includes drivers going in the opposite direction. You too must stop if there is no barrier wall or median.
While the stop sign is extended out, the school bus is loading and unloading students.
All traffic should remain stopped until the stop sign has been retracted, the doors are closed, and the bus proceeds to move forward.
Let's stop.
Together we can keep
our kids safe.
This traffic safety tip has been brought to you by PG and the Two Chiefs.
The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration. If you want original programming, we have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads. Have you thought about advertising your business on our 910 AM Superstation? Our audience is bigger than ever, and your investment will be lower than ever. Find out how you can grow your business. Give us a call during business hours and ask for Henry, 248-357-4566. We will tell your story, and more folks than ever before will come to your door. 248-357-4566. Ask for Henry. The super audience at our 910 Superstation wants to hear about you. Call now. The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Good Pods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000-watt urban radio station in town.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson. Let's get back to the phone. Let's talk to Theo. Good morning, Theo. How are you?
Happy Wednesday to you. You must have talked to the governor of Florida. What is going to happen with Desmona and Oscar? No, nah, just whitewash everything.
In his world, that's definitely the thing. He believes that all of those folks were all going to be portrayed by white folks. And how dare Disney decide that they're going to wind up doing anything different than that? Disney tries to go out and say, we're going to have a little bit of diversity. He's going to punish them. He's going to remove their tax status. He's going to take over them. He individually plans to crush a 60-year, multi-billion-dollar corporation. Right.
I don't think so. He's going to have somebody really fighting against his next election. But it also points out the urgency of us having tutors for our children in the schools so that they learn how to read and comprehend what they read.
Oh, you realize, say that again, because I don't want anybody to miss what Theo just pointed out. Well, let me just say this. If I understand you correctly, the point that Theo's making is that when you add up all of the folks and all of the people that want to tell you one way or the other what color this person is or that with any of the other stuff, the most important thing is that you've got to take an actual interest and you've got to be active in your kids' education. You've got to make sure that the stuff that other folks are not teaching them, that you teach your kids the truth.
That's right. and make sure that they learn how to read and comprehend what they read. We need more tutors for our children.
We need more tutors, and you're right, they need to comprehend. But I mean, I just remember, I just think about all of how hard it was for me. Well, I don't know, I don't want to say hard because my parents went out of their way to make it easier. Once they found out how much I love to read, and you know that I went to, if one library didn't have a book that I was looking for, I'd go to the other one and the other one. You know, I grew up, there was no Google, so you had to know how to use the card catalog in order to find what you wanted. And, you know, I had a thirst for knowledge and I was going to find it. You know, the stuff that I watched something I was interested in, and I took steps to go find what I wanted to. Kids don't have to do that anymore. They can just pull their phone out and type in a couple of letters, and the stuff that the knowledge comes to them. And there's absolutely no excuse at this point in time for folks not being able to find that we've got to figure out a way to light that spark and to make sure that they're learning, you know, not BS, but that they're learning all of the history, so that they're not fooled about what color somebody was.
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks for getting up and for sharing with us this morning.
You're welcome.
You have a great morning. Let's go to John. Good morning, John. Okay. John's phone is on and he don't know we got a delay. Let's go to New Tim.
Yes. Good morning. I'm enjoying the conversation as usual. Now let's get back to what your first statement talking about Cleopatra. You know, we all know that Cleopatra looked like me and you, but it was not taught to us. It was whitewashed for a reason, so it can degrade black people self-esteem, and you know, and we're gonna move forward. That'd be just like
it seems to have worked. It worked. The problem is, now that we know that they've done it that way, now that we know that it worked to make you not know that you came from kings and queens, so that you don't really know any of the real history about folks with your skin color, how do we fix it now?
How do we fix it? We fix it by telling the truth. We fix it about rewriting history in a right way. You know, they are always trying to rewrite history in their favor. That's what John DeSanto is doing down in Florida. He didn't want to talk about Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. Ain't gonna tell him 10, 15 years from now, he might write history and pick someone who don't look like Martin Luther King, someone that favor him, or someone that favor Spanish person, and say, hey, this is Martin Luther King, even though it might not be true. He just might have a picture of him in a textbook and said, and start writing all the things that Martin Luther King or Malcolm X have achieved.
You do know that you're not that far off. They already removed. They made an attempt. People that are on the board that he picked have already decided that they wanted to remove race from the story of telling about Rosa Parks. They don't want anybody they don't want to tell the truth about how she was being treated, why she was treated that way because of her skin color. And that is simply because Ron DeSantis does not want history to be accurate, the same way that folks have done this for hundreds, and now we know thousands of years, they've lied to try to whitewash history.
And that'd be just like me and you trying to play Ronald Reagan or John Wayne. You know, they would be in an outrage. John Wayne didn't look like Kim, or John Wayne didn't look like Kerry. Ronald Reagan, he didn't look like you, or he didn't look like me. Why do they got that person, that black person playing Ronald Reagan or John Wayne? They would be in an uproar, and we should be in an uproar when they try to rewrite history to favor them, regardless if they are Spanish or whatever nationality they may be. I feel like the person of that nationality should play that role of that nationality. You know, we must stop letting people dictate to us the real truth. We must seek out and find the real truth. No matter how hard it may seem to be, it is an easier way if we all come together and find the true history of the black race. That's the problem now. We do not know the true history of the black race, and we must quit let other people dictate to us our history.
Listen, I agree with you. I just think that 20 years ago, maybe not as many people knew the history of our people and where they came from. We've got a lot more people who know our history now. And the next step, I think, is we've got to make sure that we amplify the stories that those folks have. We've got to make sure that we tell the real history about our people over and over and over again. Because I'm amazed that, it took until, Joe Biden said we can have Juneteenth as a holiday for a lot of folks to find out about some of the terrors that have gone on in our community over the years. And because they haven't been taught that. I think that those folks who know the history now need to tell it, and we need to make sure we do everything we can to get the real truth out there. Thanks for calling this morning, brother. I'm out of time, y'all. Next up is State Representative Joel Jones. I hear a member of the foundation will be here to bring you information and inspiration from 7 to 9, followed by Attorney Anthony Adams from 9 to 11, who will be here to talk about politics, culture, and the community. I will be back in front of this microphone tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Apparently, it's 39 degrees outside. It's another day that we're going to start out a little cold, a little wet throughout the day today. Today's high is only going to be in the 50s. Take an umbrella, dress warm, stay safe. I look forward to talking to each and every one of y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.